In 1929, people lost everything. In 2026, we might lose things that don't even exist yet. And somehow, that's way worse. Look, I'm not here to sell you gold bars or bunker supplies, but if you think the economy is just vibing right now, we need to talk, because what's coming makes the Great Depression like a minor accounting error. So, 1929. Stock market crashes, banks fail, breadlines, the whole decressing package. About $30 billion in wealth just, poof, gone. Adjusted for inflation, that's around $500 billion today. Sounds terrible, right? Here's the thing. In 1929, most Americans didn't even own stocks. Only about 2 to 3% of the population was in the market. So when Wall Street imploded, yeah, it hurt. But most people's life savings were literally under their mattress or in a local bank. And here's the kicker. Back then, if you lost your job, you could still grow food, fix things with your hands, or barter skills. Today, most of us can't even change a tire without YouTube. We've traded self-sufficiency for stock portfolios, and that's a problem when the portfolios disappear. Fast forward to today. Over 58% of Americans own stocks. Your retirement? Stocks.
Your pension? Stocks. That safe index fund your financial advisor recommended? Believe it or not, also stocks. But wait, it gets worse. Even if you don't own stocks directly, you're still exposed. Your employer's 401k match? Stocks. Your insurance company's reserves? Stocks. Your local government's pension obligations? You guessed it, stocks. There's literally no escape hatch this time. We've turned the entire middle class into involuntary day traders. It's like forcing everyone to play poker, then acting surprised when someone loses their house. Now, let's talk about the debt monster. In 1929, total U.S. debt was about 160% of GDP. Today, we're pushing 350%. And I'm not just talking government debt. I mean everything. Student loans, credit cards, mortgages, car loans, that Peloton you bought during lockdown. The average American now owes $104,000 in total debt. That's more than most people make in 2 years.
We're not living paycheck to paycheck anymore. We're living loan payment to loan payment. We've basically built a civilization on IOUs. Here's an analogy. Imagine you're at a restaurant and everyone's ordering lobster and champagne. The bill keeps growing, but nobody's worried because we'll just pay it later. Except later keeps getting pushed back. And now the bill is so big that even the restaurant owner is nervous. And here's the insane part. The interest on U.S. government debt alone is now over $1 trillion per year. That's more than we spend on defense. We're paying more to service old debt than to protect the country. At some point, the credit card gets declined. That's where we are. Except the restaurant is the global economy, and the lobster is, I don't know, NFTs or something. Finally, there's the everything bubble. Remember the housing bubble in 2008? That was one asset class going crazy. Right now, we've got bubbles in stocks, real estate, bonds, crypto, and private equity. The S&P 500's price-to-earnings ratio is sitting at levels we've only seen twice before, right before the dot-com crash and right before 1929. Coincidence? Probably not. It's like we looked at 2008 and said, you know what? Let's do that, but with everything. Even weirder, we've got negative real interest rates in many countries, meaning you're literally paying banks to hold your money after inflation. It's like a gym membership that charges you extra for not working out. The entire financial system has become a parody of itself. Let's continue with the leverage nightmare. Here's where I get spicy. In 1929, you could buy stocks on 10% margin, meaning you put down $10, borrow $90, and buy $100 worth of stocks. Risky, right? Today, we've got derivatives, financial instruments so complex that the people who created them don't fully understand them. We're talking about bets on bets on bets. Warren Buffett called derivatives financial weapons of mass destruction back in 2002. That was when the market was worth $100 trillion. Now, it's $600 trillion. We didn't defuse the bomb. We made it 6 times bigger and added a timer. The total notional value of derivatives globally, over $600 trillion. That's not a typo. The entire world GDP is around 100 trillion. To put that in perspective, if derivatives were a country, its economy would be 6 times larger than every country on Earth combined. We've created more imaginary money than real money by a factor of 6. It's like writing checks from a bank account that doesn't exist and hoping nobody notices. It's like we built a Jenga tower, but instead of wooden blocks, we used dynamite, and instead of stopping at a reasonable height, we just kept going until it touched the ceiling. So why 2026 specifically? Well, we've got a perfect storm brewing.
The Fed can't keep interest rates low forever without destroying the dollar, but they can't raise them without popping every bubble simultaneously. Government debt is reaching levels where even the interest payments are becoming unsustainable. Boomers are retiring en masse, pulling money out of the market. And geopolitical tensions are making 1939 look like a friendly disagreement. Here's the math that should terrify you. 10,000 baby boomers retire every single day. That's 10,000 people shifting from buy stocks mode to sell stocks to pay for retirement mode every single day for the next decade. That's not a headwind. That's a Category 5 hurricane. It's like watching someone juggle chainsaws while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. Sure, they might make it, but would you bet your life savings on it? Plus, we've got $4.5 trillion in corporate debt maturing between 2025 and 2027. Companies that borrowed money at 2% interest now have to refinance at 6 to 7%. Imagine your mortgage payment tripling overnight. That's what's about to happen to half of corporate America. Here's the scary part. In 1929, wealth destruction was simple. Stocks went down, some banks failed. Done. In 2026, we're looking at retirement accounts evaporating because they're all in stocks, real estate collapsing because nobody can afford mortgages at high rates,
Currency devaluation because governments will print money to avoid default, pension funds imploding because they're underfunded and overleveraged, and social safety nets breaking because governments are already broke. And here's what nobody's talking about: the psychological damage. An entire generation watched their parents lose everything in 2008. Now they're about to watch their own savings disappear. The trust in the financial system won't just crack, it'll shatter completely. When people stop believing money has value, that's when things get medieval. It's not just that you'll lose money, it's that the money itself might become worthless. It's like playing Monopoly, but halfway through the game, someone sets the board on fire. The total wealth stored in global financial assets is about $250 trillion. If even 20% of that evaporates, and that's conservative, we're talking $50 trillion gone. That's 50 times worse than 1929 in absolute terms. 50 times. Let that sink in. Look, I'm not saying sell everything and move to a cabin in Montana, but maybe, just maybe, don't have 100% of your net worth tied up in assets that are all correlated to the same system. The 1929 crash destroyed wealth. The 2026 crash might destroy the very concept of wealth as we know it. Sleep tight.